Yeah. Go into that forest, I think.
Did they mention how to get to the rendezvous point?
So they said it was to the north, and they said it was up in the mountains. There was a bunch of caves that were there. There's kind of like bat caves, and he figured that's where they were supposed to go, was up there if something had occurred. The other thing is I don't remember if you reported or not, but there was about 30 people in the village, and they're mostly just village people. They don't really have any sort of like tracking or anything like that. So probably pretty easy to follow.
All right. Should we head out and get these people?
Well, I think we should at least go see if we can find them. We know the general direction, so it shouldn't be too hard.
Go up and try and move the ladder back across the gap there.
The gap is 15 feet, right?
It is. So, go ahead.
Oh, I can actually jump that because your jump distance is your strength score.
Okay.
17.
If you guys remember the side view, the keep is much higher than the rest of the area, and as you come out of the doors there for the keep, the gatehouse, you see that the drawbridge is down, and you see there's 8 people that are kind of milling about just outside the drawbridge. They are on horses, and you see they're just kind of as you come out, the drawbridge has just hit the ground, and standing there you see one of the side door opens to the south, and you see Kella is walking out of the guardhouse.
Do they have any banners?
They do, actually.
What's the symbol?
It's a serpent snake with wings.
Would any of us recognize that?
Yeah, you would. You recognize it as a flag of the Zentarum.
What's a Zentarum?
Yep.
That's not good. I figured she was Zentarum.
So Zentarum is a faction similar to the Lord's Alliance. They deal a lot with trade, but they're also known to do nefarious deals as well. And they are within the area. I mean, they do kind of intermingle around. You actually remember actually hearing that there was some rumors that there was some mercenaries at Daggerford, which is south of you guys, that had recently moved into the area due to the fact that the Hill Giants were fighting in the farmlands there.
What's our faction's relationship with theirs?
So tenuous. I mean, you guys are on cordial standing. It's not that you would fight them necessarily. However, you keep them, fairly close and keep a close eye on them. It's not. It's been not unheard of for one to work with the other.
Do you want us to play out getting over the gap again?
I don't think so. I think we're probably okay. So if you're able to get across the gap, you can use the ladder if you want to.
Okay. I assume we'd go to the drawbridge since we're leaving.
Yeah, just because there's Zentarum, it doesn't mean that they're bad.
Which drawbridge are they at? The one at the base of the keep, or just outside the town?
Yeah, the one right at the outside of the town.
Okay.
Oh, so they're outside?
They are. Well, yep, they're right there, and they're going to be moving across here in just a second. So you can see that Kella is there, and she's you see her kind of waving her hand towards them, and they continue to kind of come across the bridge, almost like victors, to be honest with you. You see one in the front. He appears to be sort of the leader of the group, and you see that they all have those same sort of snakes with the wings on them kind of wrapped around their arms, but his is sort of wrapped around his neck and kind of sits perched up, kind of looking over.
Maybe we can just walk by them. Mind your own business. I'll try to do that.
Okay. So you guys are gonna just kind of walk up to the bridge and across then, or at least
Yep.
try to mind your way.
We got our mission.
Okay.
Yeah, may as well. I mean, they haven't done anything wrong.
All right.
Yeah, great.
Maybe we can get them to help us.
So as you kind of approach the drawbridge, you see Kella kind of turns around. She says, "Ah, here's the guys. These are the ones." And you see the gentleman who appears to be obvious the leader is a half elf. He's kind of a very dashing looking guy. Kind of hops off the horse and reaches down and kind of shakes your hand and says, "Hello, Zolkin. Nice to meet you."
Whose hand did he shake?
Whoever was there first. That would be probably Melton.
Yeah.
Right, yes. What can I do for you?
Okay.
Hey, do you know you got a snake on your head?
Yes, I do. This is my friend. He flown and told me that you guys had cleared out the area of goblins and helped Kella, I heard.
Well, of course we did.
Excellent. Well, the good news is the Zentarum is going to help bring order back to this town.
Well, you can start with helping us, because the village people, there's a biker and a construction worker and a cop, they've disappeared. We're going to find them.
Well, we'll secure the area. We'll fortify the place while you find them. Feel free to bring them back, of course.
There's guards still left to keep for that. I'm sure you could come help us, or at least give us some help.
Sorry, my horses are pretty tired. I don't think that we're going to be able to traverse.
That's okay. Put your horses in the stable. You can walk with us. Not a problem.
Kind of looks and he says, I think we'll probably hold down the fort. We've got some more mercenaries riding in from Daggerford.
It's fine, Melton. We can do this.
Some of the houses are pretty battered. We're going to be bringing people back, but we may not have places to house them. Could you maybe see if you could fix some of the roofs?
Yeah, we'll check that out. We'll probably have to work on some other stuff first, of course.
Man, you need to get rid of all these big-ass rocks around here.
Yeah, I see that. Zella told me that this was potentially dropped or something. Is that right?
That's what we're told.
We've been dealing with the hill giants. Usually they throw them. It's kind of interesting that they would be dropped from some height. I don't see anything. He kind of looks up. Anything that could be dropped from.
I think it was mentioned there was a floating fortress in the sky.
Interesting. We haven't seen any of those lately.
Lately, but you have seen some?
We have from time to time, off on the distance. They never come over Daggerford. They're usually over the trackless sea. There was a peculiar one we saw. It has a kind of a tower on it, but it has like a wizard's hat. It's kind of interesting. I've never really seen that before.
The tower has a wizard's hat.
The actual tower has a wizard hat, a large wizard hat on it. It's peculiar, to say the least.
Made of cloth.
Tough to say. It was a long ways away, but it's obvious. Looks like a wizard's hat.
Well, thank you for the information.
Yes, absolutely. Please, when you come back, just yell over and we'll bring down the drawbridge.
I go to shake his hand,
He shakes your hand.
but I want to see how strong his grip is.
Okay, alrighty.
I'm going to apply some force, just see if he applies it back.
He applies it back.
How good is it?
What's your modifier?
+5.
It's not as good as yours.
Alright, I smile, and I guess we'll be on our way.
Before we go, didn't the guards say we could use the horses that were in the stables?
Yes, they did.
Would you guys prefer to ride?
Yeah, we should always take horses when they're available.
Sure.
Our own faction didn't give us any.
I need a pony. Is there any ponies in the stable? And Barry might need a pony too. A horse is kind of big. Actually, me and her could double up on one horse.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I'll need a small one too.
Alrighty, yeah. Well, unfortunately they just have horses in there, 5 riding horses and 5 draft horses. They didn't say anything about any ponies.
Well, you could always ride backseat.
I would prefer that.
I'll ride with Stig.
All
William
right.
has a habit of throwing little feet folks.
Okay.
Just watch my tail.
I'm sitting on it.
I guess we ride off.
Alrighty, so you guys go to the stables, pick up the horses, so 3 or 2 of them, I guess, and then ride off. Stig, you kind of look down to the ground and you see that there's, I assume that's what you were rolling for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see obvious kind of tracks too, and remember it's kind of raining as well. It's kind of a dreary kind of day, and so you definitely see them kind of curve off to the north and follow kind of the moat up, and you see they kind of wander up into the hills there. It doesn't appear that it's going to be very difficult to kind of track these tracks that are there. You do see that there is several signs of small humanoid feet as well as normal human-sized feet, medium-sized feet.
That answered my question I was coming with next.
Ah, nice.
So they're being pursued, huh?
Yeah, tough to say. I mean, you can see the little feet kind of walk towards the town as well as back up towards the to the north where the mountains are as well.
Okay.
So it's tough, hard to say. You guys travel for about maybe an hour or so. You do, as you kind of travel up, you see on the northeast side is a very thick and deep woods that is pretty much pitch black, especially with all the rain and everything. It has a large canopy. You do hear occasional sounds of birds and animal sounds, and in the far distance you kind of think you may hear some signs of fighting or something going on in there, but it's tough to tell if that's the sound or if it's just the rain hitting the leaves as well as thunder and lightning. You do see that the mountainside in front of you though is covered with several caves and whatnot, but the tracks seem pretty obvious, following towards in a general direction.
Continue to follow them. Is it in the same direction as the fighting?
It's not. So the sound of the fighting that you hear sounds like it's deep in the woods someplace.
Which way do we want to go?
Well, I think our mission is to find the villagers, so unless we think they're in the woods, I don't know that we should sidetrack.
Party vote. Stig?
Yeah, I agree. It's to get the people, and we got a good track. If we get off this track, we may not be able. It may take us a while to get back onto it. So,
Melton concurs. He thinks the village people are in the YMCA, so he's going to follow that.
All right, William. Yeah, let's stay on track. All right. 4 for all, let's go.
All right, sounds good. So you continue to kind of travel up the tracks, and you see there's a large cave opening, kind of immediately up to the front of you. It's about maybe 20 feet high and maybe 12 feet wide or so. This seems to be almost to the top of one of the hills. The hill's kind of a large hill, kind of surrounded with some trees and whatnot, both on the top and some rocky areas along the sides of it. But definitely appears that the footsteps travel into that cave entrance.
do we see the small ones and the large ones?
You do. Matter of fact, the closer you get, the more you see sort of scattered small feet kind of going off in various directions, but they all seem to generally kind of move up the hill and towards this opening.
Good, we found it.
Start walking up towards the mouth.
Alrighty, so as you continue to walk up, you see that I'm not digital or anything, am I?
Nope.
Okay, good. You start walking up to the entrance of the cave, and you notice that The cave has kind of an outcropping that kind of makes a natural sort of roof over the main entrance, and inside is completely pitch black inside the cave itself. As you get a little bit closer, you're about 40 feet from the cave entrance, you notice now that the ground is pretty much devoid of any sort of foliage or dirt or anything, and the steps walk up to the stone that's here, and then you just kind of don't see any more footsteps at this point.
Can I see inside the cave?
You can. So as you look into the cave, you can see what appears to be a large opening inside, and there's multiple stalagmites that range anywhere between 3 to 15 feet high that are kind of staggered into the center of the cave itself. You don't see anything of creatures or anything inside, but you do hear the sound of what sounds like dripping water.
No, we can't take our horses in there.
No. I'm assuming in that it's dark in there.
It is dark in there.
I go, hey, I got an idea.
I do too. What's yours?
Well, I can kind of go in there and look around and be sneaky, and I can also disguise myself as a goblin.
You know, not everyone likes goblins.
Yeah, you might scare the villagers if they're hiding in there.
I can disguise myself as a lizard man.
I like goblins. Their fingers, they're good snacks for on the trail.
All I'm saying is if you go in there as a goblin and you come out with arrows stuck in you, don't come crying to me.
I'm gonna start tying up the horses.
Alrighty. So
There's a
looking
pit.
around, there's a few trees that are off to the side, probably about 30 or 40 feet over to the side. You could even go farther if you wanted to, along the edge, if you wanted to hide them a little bit better.
Yeah, I'll hide them.
Okay. So as you kind of go around, can you give me a perception check? So William, as you're tying them up, you notice that on the east side of this kind of cavern here, there's a small tunnel. It's about 5 foot wide and 7 foot high, and it kind of seems like it kind of dives down into the mountain or the hill that you're next to.
Alright. I'll tie the horses up and relay that to my party when I get back.
Okay.
Does it look like it's going in the same direction that this other cavern's going?
It does. So if you picture a hill and you guys are on the south side of the hill, the entrance he found was on the east going west into the hill itself.
Does it look like there's any tracks that way?
There isn't, actually, at least not that he had observed with his kind of looking around. There was no tracks. Looks like it's not very traveled at all. However, easily could have people to climb into it or go into it would be fine.
It may give us the drop-in on anyone in that cave.
Yeah. Milton's all about that. No sense in going through the front door when you can go through the back door. That's what I always say.
Alright, we'll use this entrance.
Okay, and then Barry, I think you don't have dark vision, right?
I do not.
Alrighty, so how would you like to help Barry get through, or do you guys want Barry to have some light source?
We'll have Mountain Scout, but the back line can have light in it.
Okay.
Stig doesn't have dark vision either, I don't think.
Oh, Stig doesn't?
No,
Yes,
I do. I took the
Oh, he took the
dark vision
Ah,
option.
well, he has the light spell, I believe.
I've got the light spell too, so
Oh,
I
okay.
can.
Okay. So Melton, you continue down into the passageway. It leads about, maybe 100 feet or so, and then it opens up into a small cavern. In this cavern, you see there's lots of stalactites and stalagmites, and they kind of crowd this 15-foot wide cave that's kind of circular, as well as about 20 feet high. There's one large, particularly large stalagmite that's in the center of the room itself. It seems to be riddled with a bunch of holes. They're about 4-inch wide and kind of surround the entire stalagmite itself. You also see that there are, let's see, what's your perception? Oh, yeah, you see there's some, what looks like corroded metal kind of laying down on the ground in the room itself. get you on the map.
Corroded metal, a large is it stalagmite or stalactite?
Might from the ground up.
Okay. And it's got 4-inch holes in it. I don't see anything else. I guess that one tunnel's blocked off, so the tunnel to the north would be the way to go.
Sorry, you can go through it. There is a tunnel to the west, and there's a tunnel to the north.
I'll come up and I'll inspect the stalag, whatever it is.
Yeah, no problem.
It's a tight cave.
So as you kind of inspect the stalagmite, you see that it has these 4-inch wide holes, and they're kind of scattered all throughout it, almost as if I'm trying to think of something similar, kind of like a Swiss cheese. There's just randomly holes all throughout the stalagmite. You notice that none of the other stalagmites have holes similar to that.
Step back.
Okay.
I said, I think there's something in those holes.
Go poke a stick in there.
Oh, well, maybe Helm would sit back and watch, and maybe we can observe. Learn from this.
So you're all right there, I assume. Barry, you're right at the entrance as well.
I am.
Okay, so you can see kind of what he's talking about. Your light spell is at 30 feet? I can never remember, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's 20 and 20.
20 and 20, thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and kind of skirt on by, looking down to the west.
Okay, so as you kind of look down to the west, you hear the sound of, sounds like almost kind of water sort of pouring over. Maybe rocks or something like that, but you can definitely hear the sound of what sounds like water kind of, yeah, pouring water. Maybe like a river or something of the sort.
Waterfall.
Yeah, waterfall, that kind of stuff.
Continue on around, peeking around the corner.
So as you peek around, you see that it kind of opens up into a cave. There is actually a lake, and you do see a small waterfall that's kind of pouring. It appears to be about 8 feet high, and the pool is kind of small there. You also see that there appears to be maybe a few mushrooms that are kind of on the east side, but the cave continues along the east, and you're not able to really see from that standpoint where you're looking.
I'll sneak on up.
Yeah, perfect.
Mushrooms are right there.
Yep, right there. Yep. That's,
I think I might need to hide those mushrooms. There's certain individuals that will eat them.
Yes, there is. So you want to pick some of those, I take it?
And does any of them look like they're useful, or?
Why don't you give me a nature check?
Okay, and you know I am a deep gnome, so.
I do know, yes. For the rest of you guys, you see Melton kind of sneak around the corner and continues down the path.
Probably just wait in this cave for him.
Okay.
Make sure it's secured.
I'm gonna look at the holes and see if I can learn anything. Kind of
Okay.
check. What do you want?
You can give me a nature check, I guess, because I don't think we have dungeoneering, if I remember correctly.
Can I give him some guidance on that
You sure
while
can.
we're taking a look at it?
Absolutely. So as Stig, as you look at that, it's peculiar, but that being said, you haven't been in a lot of caves, so it may be completely normal to you.
I'm not sure about this hole. This may be normal.
Can I take a look at it then?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
So, Fair, you'd actually completely contradict. You've seen many stalagmites, and this is not normal. And then for Melton, you recognize these mushrooms are actually very common in the Underdark, and these mushrooms actually are poisonous.
Poisonous mushrooms.
Yep.
I'll gather up a few of them carefully.
Alrighty.
I don't know. Do I need are they poisonous to touch too, or just poisonous if ingested?
No, you know if they're ingested, they're poisonous. There's no poison touch to them. There's nothing.
I'll scoop some up and put them in a bag. And I will take a look at this pool of water. How deep is it?
So it's about 5 feet deep.
Over my head.
Yeah, over your head, definitely. So Barry, oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna stick my head in water and just take a look and see if I see anything.
Okay. So you stick your head underneath the water and take a look, and you don't see anything of necessary value. However, the water is pretty pristine. I mean, it doesn't have a salty taste on your lips or anything. It's really nice water.
Okay, then I'll head back up and let the party know what's going on.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So, well, as you come around, you see the party is almost completely surrounded the stalagmite, and they're all kind of peering in the holes, and I think, kind of checking out everything that's going on with the stalagmite.
Yeah, this doesn't look normal. I don't know what is abnormal about it, but this doesn't look like a regular stalagmite.
Well, I'm from the Underdark. I've seen plenty of these things, and
Does it look right to you?
in the Underdark, they're probably normal. I'm gonna try investigation on this to see if I can ascertain what the function of this thing is.
Okay.
Well, I'll point out the different holes. Those just don't look right.
Just looks like a rock to me.
So, Melton, you kind of look at the holes, and now that you see the corroded metal laying next to it, you notice that the holes also have sort of been eaten away. So you ascertain that probably whatever had made the holes also had probably corroded the metal.
Yeah. And I'll let the party know what I've discovered.
Okay. And then can I have a D20 from you, Melton? Thanks. So you got 11 mushrooms.
So there's a pool down there, Melton?
Yeah. There's a pool, and there's some mushrooms, but they're poisonous.
Oh, thanks. I'm gonna go check out the pool real quick.
All right.
What does the metal look like? You said it was corroded?
Yeah, so the more you look at it, you notice that they're actually scimitars that have been kind of corroded away. You see there's pieces of the metal actually have holes in them, almost as if parts of it had either hit something that had corroded it. And you also notice the tips, almost about, probably about the first 6 inches of the swords are completely gone and missing.
Like something may have melted it away?
Exactly.
It's like a rust monster.
Yeah, I'll point this out.
Okay.
This doesn't look good. It looks like something has, like, maybe acid or I don't know what has, like, melted away these swords. So maybe be careful in that pool or the water down there.
I'll try to investigate the metal itself and see if I can figure out what destroyed it, if it was from just rust and corrosion or if it was acid or something like that.
That's a 1.
No, I think, he should roll again.
All right.
Because he has the blessings of Tymora.
Awesome. So Melton, can you roll again for me? Thanks. So Melton, as you kind of look through, I forgot what we were investigating. I got so thrown off by the 1. What were you investigating again?
I was investigating the swords, the corroded metal, to see if I can figure out
Oh.
what caused. If was it
Yeah.
corrosion, be of like rust, or
Right.
is it acid or something
Yep.
else that destroyed it?
Gotcha. Yeah. So, after William had kind of mentioned about the rust monster, you identify this as definitely could be a rust monster. There could be a black pudding. I mean, there's lots of different things that that can kind of cause this, and it definitely appears to be that kind of destruction of these weapons.
Do I notice anything about the pool, Greg?
You do. You notice that the pool is very pristine water. You also notice in the area that there's signs that this was traveled quite a bit, but you recognize that other than Melton's footprints, there hasn't really been any sort of traffic in this passageway in a long time. I mean, you could see kind of beaten in ruts and stuff, so it was traveled quite frequently, but now those ruts have not changed and they look very old.
Can mending repair weapons affected by degradation?
Who is mending? Stig?
I do. Yeah.
Stig, you would recognize it that they probably could be mended.
Good.
So can I see to the bottom of the pool?
You can. It's about 5 feet deep. You notice that there is a small kind of cracks in the bottom where the water kind of leaks through the rest of the stone, so it doesn't fill up the room here. The waterfall is about 8 feet high, pouring out of a small hole in the rock, which is unusual because you guys came up the south side, so there must be a small river or a small underground little stream that must feed this pool.
I'm gonna swim down and check the cracks, see if anything fell on them.
Okay, all right. And give me another investigation if you don't mind. Yeah, so as you investigate through here, you don't really see anything. There's some moss and whatnot, but no kind of anything of value, really.
All right.
You do see when you're down there, though, that there's a small, almost like a crude cup, a metal cup that's down there. It's all dented and everything, but otherwise you don't see anything else down there.
I'll grab the cup
Okay,
and then I'll come back up and start working towards the party.
sounds good.
You're soaking wet.
Ah, it's a great swim. Here, I found this cup. Guess we'll check out the cup.
So as you look at it, it looks like a common sort of drinking cup, I would say. Oh, thank you. And it's kind of battered and whatnot. It's made of kind of a pewter, cheap sort of metal. Probably not worth of anything, but definitely looks like a cup that you would collect water with or drink with.
Good job.
Yeah, I'll keep it.
Maybe one of the villagers left it here. Well, I guess we go north.
All right.
Melton, you want to scout ahead?
I sure will.
So Melton, as you kind of come around, you see that the passageway then turns to the west, travels about 20-25 feet, and then it opens up into a large cavern. As you get to the edge, you immediately see around the cavern itself on the opposite wall, I think it's about far enough, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,
I got 120 feet.
90, yeah, so you can see over to the other side. So you see on the opposite side, these stalagmites in the middle have they're quite tall. They seem to kind of crowd in on each other. You see on the far wall, you can see those ledges that are there. Those are about 10 feet high, and you see each ledge has a goblin kind of perched up on it. They're just kind of sitting there, kind of messing around with their javelins and whatnot. And then there's a mud pool. You can see it kind of in the south part, and you see a large creature in there kind of plopping around in the mud, and you can kind of hear almost a little bit of a singing sound, like you see there's a large twig that's kind of not twig, almost like a tree branch that's kind of sitting next to the pool itself. He's just kind of singing along in there as he's throwing mud on himself.
I would be upset if he was going rubber ducky.
If he spoke the language, he probably was singing rubber ducky.
He probably was singing rubber ducky. So